Welcome to Thursday Night Knives. I'm Bob DeMarco. Coming up, a new one from Civivi that I like quite a bit, with one caveat. Two from Gross Motor Gear, something I've been wanting for a long time. And then we're going to talk about one to wed, one to bed, and one to bury. Now, this is kind of like the, what do they call it? Kiss, marry, kill thing that little girls play. When you're talking about boys in the fourth grade classroom, who do you want to kiss, who do you want to marry, and who do you want to kill? Well, this is sort of the same thing, but I didn't want to put the K word in the title because I didn't want there to be an issue. But this is basically the same thing. One knife that is so sexy, one knife that is so solid, and then one knife that you cannot stand and you wish would just go away. So we're going to talk about what your choices are for that. I have mine laid out before me, and they are folders, and we'll get to those. They probably, maybe the to bed will be a surprise, but the to wed and the to bury, I think you won't be surprised by it. Marco, good evening, sir. Nice to have you with us. He says, evening, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Evening, Marco. I hope you're doing well. OG Blade Reviews, always a pleasure to have my good friend Dave with us. Evening, Bob, Jim, and all. Believe me, I've got more than one for each of those categories, and a night walker or two to boot. What's a night walker? Night walker. You're gonna have to refresh me on what that is. Ground Fog, nice to have you here, Ground Fog. Always a pleasure. Sword XXXY from down under, good to have you. G'day, Bob, Jim, and fellow junkies. Well, good day to you, sir. Hope the morning, right? It's morning there, right? Or afternoon. Anyway, I hope the daytime is treating you well. James Hart, pleasure to have you here with us as always. Evening all, I is here. Well, I'm glad you is here, my man. Jammin Parker, nice to have you here, Jammin. Happy Thursday, gentlemen, he says. And yes, it is a gathering of eagles. We have gentlemen and some ladies, and we're all solid folk. So welcome one and all. Have a nice day. Nice to have you here. Have a nice day. As always, good evening, Junkalos, he says. Good evening to you. I'm curious to find out what kind of Bowie knife you have on you. I had a big one on me today. It wasn't on me, but it was with me. James Hart says, my name is James and I'm a knifeaholic. Well, that's the first step, right? Admitting you have a gift. We'll say a gift. It's not a problem in this case. Your love of knives is a gift. Benedict Doty, nice to have you here, Benedict. Good evening, all, he says. Good evening to you, Benedict. I hope you're doing well. We have Byron, Splitting Slices. Howdy, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Another Thursday Night Knives. Marco, Groundhog, Sword XXX, James H, Mr. Rexy, Jammin P, Togata, and all entering the basement. Yes, the basement indeed. Hey, I also forgot to mention that one lucky Gentleman Junkie is getting two items tonight. A guided field sharpener by Work Sharp, which is my favorite. That's my go-to sharpening thing these days. It's pretty much supplanted everything else. I love this thing. You're going to get that, and you're going to get the Damn Designs Aries. This is thanks to Dave. This old, oh my gosh, Dave, I'm sorry, man. You're always this old sword to me, but OG Blade Reviews as well. This is a beauty that Dave sent over here for me to give away to you. So this is compliments of Dave and myself. Look at that beautiful clip point blade. I love this knife. So solid in hand. Such amazing action. Beautiful pivot. That pivot is gorgeous. And then you have a clip thing, filler tab, and then the Work Sharp, not even out of the box, Work Sharp sharpening system. I love this thing. The guided field sharpener. I first got wind of this, I'd say about a year ago, from Jared Neve. He did a video on it, and I was like, that thing's awesome. And I got it, and lo and behold, it is really awesome. And then when they talk about guided field sharpener, it's because these approaches, these yellow approaches to both sides of the stones and also to the ceramic on top, they're all at 20 degrees. So if you start the blade here and just kind of leave it at that same angle, you are getting a solid 20-degree bevel. So awesome. Howdy, Junkonians, says Craig Vincent. Craig, nice to have you here with us, man. I hope you're doing well. Jason Cosby, nice to have you here with us, Jason. Good evening, everyone, he says. Well, good evening to you, sir. Five Door. Greetings, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Well, greeting, Five Door. Always a pleasure. Five Door has one of those collections, just as Michael does here. Have a Knife Day says, I Dante the knives that don't make the cut, pun intended. Oh, very nice. I work with a punster he's brilliant. I donate. Thank you. I donate that. Say that again. Okay. Hit that thumbs up button. He says, yes, thank you. I donate the knives that don't make the cut, pun intended. Beautiful. Will B says, good evening, Jim, Bob, and Junkies. Well, Will B, it's great to have you here with us. Ken Reed, nice to have you here, Ken. Good evening, all, he says. 3 exclamation points. I like that. Thursday is the day for exclamation points. You know what I've noticed? I use them a lot more than I used to. I used to think that exclamation marks were kind of the sign of weakness. You don't want to show anyone that you're actually happy to talk to them or write to them. But now I keep it to 1 per document. And I don't mean document, but like if it's an email, oh man, I love your new video, exclamation point. And then everything after that, no exclamation point. So you got to save it. You got to save it up. But I used to hate them. And now, I don't know, kind of like them. Adrian Fighter 35, nice to have you here, sir. And madam, mademoiselle, I should say. Good evening, Bob, Jim, fellow knife junkies. And if you're wondering why I'm calling Adrian mademoiselle, I am not. But oftentimes his wife joins him on Thursday Night Knives. So there you have it. For favorite couples night activity. See, that's what I'm talking about. Well, good to have you both here with us. Lou Zur, nice to have you, Mr. Zur. I knew you were coming over here when I got my KJ stream notification split in slices. Howdy, Bob and all. Lou, it's a pleasure to have you here. Outdoors Addiction. Nice to have you here, Outdoors Addiction. Hello, everybody, he says. Hello to you. Hey, I am addicted to outdoor boys right now. Luke, it's only really one outdoor boy. Sometimes he takes his kids on his adventures, but he's this guy up in Alaska. I mean, millions of you know him already, so maybe some of you here do too, but I love his videos, and they always make me hungry. G-Ball Vision, nice to have you here, G-Ball. What's going on, everyone? Much love, everybody. I love that. Well, much love to you, sir. OG Blade Review says, Game of Thrones reference, one merry bed was also used. Oh, really? Interesting. Huh. We were Game of Thrones. I'll be very quick about Game of Thrones. We watched all of them, loved them. My wife read the books, so she wasn't as happy. And I couldn't have a conversation about it. I could sit there and watch and know what's going on and enjoy. But then when we would get together with friends and they'd be like, oh, Tyrion and this and that, I'd be like, I still don't. I mean, we've been watching this for 5 years. I still don't know anyone's name. Sorry, I'm kind of a reach. I just sort of take it in, but don't ask me to say their names. But what an awesome show that was. And let's face it, the dragons. Everyone wants to see more dragons. They're so cool. But thanks for the reference, Dave. I will definitely let my wife know that you know that stuff because she's a gorgeous nerd. Let me just put it that way. Jerry C, nice to have you here, Jerry. Hello, Bob. Hope you and everyone is doing well. Well, I am doing well. And let me just say, that's casting no aspersions, but she's always been into sci-fi like Dune. Oh, man, Dune is awesome. She's read all those books and yeah, man, those movies are super cool. I love the new ones anyway. Lou says clip thing filler tab is technical name for it. That's right, and I think they've shortened it for the weaker of mind to just filler tab. But yeah, clip thing filler tab, I think is how it's originally supposed to be. Ryan Lynch, nice to have you here, Mr. Lynch. Good evening, all. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday to you, my man. Have a Knife Day says, Marbles Trailmaker fixed blade knife, 10-inch Bowie, jigged bone. I love jigged bone. It's in transit as we speak. So a Marbles, you're going to have to answer a question in a second. I did throw my American Tomahawk Company Model 3 this week, at an axe throwing place. I saw those pictures. The funny thing is I saw, he says, I think he said some, anyway, I saw the picture you posted and I was like, where is he going to throw axes? My God, they're like giving some real quality tomahawks at that place. And that's funny. It's what you brought, of course. But also that marbles is, I know that some marbles, like the folders, they are like this. This is a marbles, you know, it's kind of like, it's a sort of cheap, but I'm assuming that with the fixed blade knives, they're probably old marbles like this one, and not the Chinese made kind of Rough Rider. Let me know. I'm curious. Lou says gorgeous nerds are the best kind. Absolutely, and the best kind of gorgeous also. I would have to agree with you there, sir. You know, looks fade. But eventually, not when you're with someone all the time. You don't see them age. Just like, luckily, they don't see you age, or they don't see you get old and fat and ugly. But as long as you have stuff to talk about and you can make each other laugh, that's the key. And this is gonna. I heard Suzanne Summers of Three's Company fame say that a long time ago, like in the early '80s, and I was like, oh. Maybe there's something to that. Maybe she was on Phil Donahue. Anyone here remember Phil Donahue? All right. So now that I've fully disclosed my age, etc., let's take a look at this knife we have here, right here on the yeah. I have been playing with this one, and I've been playing with my Laredo Bowie quite a bit. This is the Cinque Dia. Stands for 5 fingers because it's 5 fingers wide. This was the sidearm, the EDC, we'll say, of the 15th century Italian man roaming around. So somewhere, oh, you hear that, roaming around? I didn't mean that, but it's pretty good. Somewhere in my past, hopefully, one of my relatives was walking around with this. You know, I have I am 100% American, but my heritage is 100% Italian. And some of that is from the north in Venice, and then some of it is from the middle, Emilia Romagna, and then the rest of it is in the south, Campobasso, and then the very south in Sicily. And so I always wonder what, you know, I'm sure they all had weapons of some sort. And I sometimes wonder, did any of them have one of these? This is the only real traditional old Italian blade I have. And it's cool. I've seen these in person at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York and in the Cleveland Museum of Art, which has an incredible arms and armor room. And they even have a really cool section in the Cleveland Museum of like early Colt pistols and stuff. Like you can trace the history of guns there. It's so cool. But anyway, yeah, the Cinque Dia I always thought was a very impressive looking knife. And then when I bought this and posted and this is back, they're making this again at Cold Steel. So for a while it was gone. But when I posted a video of it, someone was like, oh yeah, it looks like a slice of pizza. Leave it to the Italians to make a blade that looks like a slice of pizza. And I was like, my God, why did that never occur to me? But yeah, you're right. It's both beautiful and delicious. Hey, what can I say? Have a Knife Day says, marbles, incredibly difficult to get information about them. Seems that the company has gone the way of Western knives of Colorado. I have one Western, the Bowie here. Sold to other companies. And now, good question. Well, I can't wait to hear and see the video, hear about the marbles and see this Bowie you have coming to you. I love the idea of the jigged bone. My Western W49 has an aftermarket bone handle, and I've always wondered what kind of bone that is. It's a little weird. My brother got this for me at a pawn. He got it for himself, but I talked him out of it at a pawn shop. That salt and pepper beard makes you look like the silverback gorilla of the. Oh, Lou. Oh man, you know how to compliment a guy. A silverback gorilla. That's right. Northern Knives. Good to have you here, Mike. One wed. Okay, one to wed. The Hinderer XM18 one to bed, the Protec, the Don Custom, one to bury, the ZT223. Interesting. All right, so the 223, I thought when it came out was a really awkward design, quite ugly, and then someone, I think maybe Hero Sticks, sent it to me to check out, loaned his version to me to check out. And once I had it in hand, I was like, this is a kind of a cool knife. But I totally hear you, and thank you. I can totally see why you said all of those three. Yeah, I can. Jerry C says, I agree, Bob. Looks are only skin deep, but ugly is to the bone. No kidding, man. No kidding. Loser says, hey, fellow paisano. Lou, cheers to you, Lou. Keep it going, man. Keep it going. You know how things get. Like, you know, my daughters are half Italian, and then they've got other great stuff in them. But you know, it's interesting. I remember my mom saying when we were little, you probably won't marry an Italian girl. And I was like, what are you talking about? Of course I'll marry an Italian girl. And she's like, what are the chances? You know, we live in America, and you're gonna go, you're gonna meet someone, and you're not gonna fall in love by, you know, what they're, you know, whether they're Italian or not. And I was like, yes, I will, or whatever I said. But I always thought that was crazy. And lo and behold, yeah, no, it's not crazy at all. Dean P, nice to have you here. The trench knife is cooler. Yes. Oh, wait, wrong way. Both of them are pretty damn sweet, I got to say. But the 1918 on top, still my favorite. I love that thing. But both of them come from my brother. So they both, you know, they're both sentimental pieces too. Dan Stan EDC, nice to have you here, Dan Stan. What is that cool knife you're holding, man? Hello, everyone, he says. Well, hello to you, sir. Love that knife. Paul Mills, nice to have you here, Paul. Now, Paul Mills. Oh, I know. You just got a knife from Shane. Shane just made you a knife called it was a funny name. The Joke. The Joke Woof something. Anyway, good looking knife, man. A very beautiful knife from Shane, and his stuff just gets better and better and better. And I haven't held one in person yet. He's been making one for me. I can't wait to get that. But you can just tell from looking at his work, it's just, he's getting better and better. He spends a lot of time on it. Jammin Parker says, to wed the Compliance Edge DCK, bed Spartan Blades Moros. I don't know which one that is. Oh, I got a movie recommendation. I'm going to do this so I remember. And Barry, any stubby overbuilt Medford folder. Jammin, I cannot disagree. Now, I've loved the Praetorian, but I got rid of my Praetorian. I always thought it was like, who designed this? Like a cartoon character? And I'm not dissing those who love and collect Medford, and I'm not dissing him either. Though he did tell me the first time I interviewed him, I'm not a knife guy. I was like, huh, really? Well, you're pretty damn good at having a knife company. But you mentioned Spartan, and anyone who's interested, The Return is an awesome movie. If you love the Odyssey, which I do, I love the Odyssey. You will love that movie. It's so well observed and so well acted. I really love it. And it's the Odyssey minus the gods. And I knew it would be, but I was like, how do you make the Odyssey or the Iliad without the gods? They did it with Troy, and I thought it was a spectacular failure. But with this, it was awesome. So if you're interested, check out The Return with Juliette Binoche, who, man, she's still just so beautiful. And Ray Fiennes, who as a 63-year-old, I think, was all ropey and ripped. He looked like a Greek hero who's been, you know, at Poseidon's mercy for 10 years. It was awesome. Gibbs ATX, nice to have you here, Gibbs. Hola, Bob. Well, hola to you, sir. Greetings from Austin, Texas. I love Texas. I've never been to Austin, though. Will you be attending Texas Blade Show this year? No, I will not. It turns out we're having a lot of housework done, and I've kind of had to forego that. I said all year, I'm going to Blade Show, Texas. And then when the rubber came to meet in the road, I was like, I know I'm going to Atlanta. That's a given. So next year in Texas, just like they say it to Passover next year in Israel. Well, next year in Texas, for sure. I don't care what's happening. I'll quit my job. Just kidding. If anyone's watching from work, I won't. Just kidding. But yeah, I will be there next year. I can't go this year, but I would love to meet you, Gibbs. Northern Knife says, one of my best friends carries a ZT0223. I can't talk him out of it. It's got a really nice looking blade, minus the big goofy opening hole. I mean, like the front part, the clip part in the belly and the little bit of straight there. It is a nice looking blade. It feels great in hand. I like that integral sort of backstrap thingy they have on there. Is it a scale? Is it a backstrap? But yeah, I hear you. It's nothing like the 308. And now we're talking about two different calibers, basically. But the 308 is way better, I think, in terms of design and everything else. But the 223, I got to say, it won me over in person. Jesse says, evening all. Evening to you, Jesse. Good to have you here with your crow. Mark Stallman, nice to have Mark with us. Howdy, junkies. Well, howdy, junkie, but I think you meant junkies because there's plenty of us here. Good to have you here, Mark. Ed says, hello, everyone. Ed, nice to have you with us. Pardon me, Professor EDC. Awesome to see you here, man. Bob, Jim, Knife Junkies. Hope everyone is doing well. So what's on the table for today? Oh, man, I got so much on the table, as always. But we're talking about one to wed, one to bed, and one to bury. Why are you holding a training blade? I've been using this every morning. I call it my old man workout. And between exercises, I practice my Bowie stuff. And I just recently got this. I think I showed this a couple of weeks ago. This is the Cold Steel Laredo Bowie trainer. And I love it because I love the Laredo Bowie, which is the same in terms of dimensions, though the Laredo doesn't have the knurled handle. And it's also like 7 times as heavy as this. So that is a thing, as I'm sure Dave recognizes, because he is a phenom with knives and Filipino martial arts and others, I think. So he knows that weight really does matter when it comes to training. But it's nice to have this early in the morning, 5:20 in the morning. I'm not cutting myself by accident. Then again, I'm not hitting myself either. So Dave says, Knife Ship Free. Oh, I know. I saw this. Have a load of Bark River V44 Bowies in many different handles, including the Moran handle. So that's the kind I have. I have the V44 with the Moran handle, and it's green micarta. And it was a very generous gift from my father for my 44th birthday, I think it was. Or no, maybe it was a little later, 47th birthday or something like that. And man, that is definitely one of my prize possessions in terms of knife collection. And if you're curious what the V44 is, it looks kind of like this, kind of in the same. Oh no! Oh, knife down. That's all right. It can take it. It's a Work Tough gear. And then here's the other Work Tough gear that the V44 is sort of similar to, and this is the V44X from Work Tough gear, but it's that what do you call it? Marine Raider style, Western Bowie style, with the big belly and the descending straight edge and the dramatic clip. Really dramatic on this one. Oh man, I dropped the Puzon Predator Hunter Bowie, and it kind of popped halfway out of the sheath. Sort of dramatic. G-Ball says, I need a Bark River. Hey, G-Ball, I'm not going to disagree with you. They are friggin' awesome. I don't have any out on the table tonight, but they are awesome. And I love their extremely sharp Appleseed or convex edges. They're so nice. They cut really well. They're great for outdoor stuff. And, the extent of my outdoor stuff is family fire pit stuff, though I intend to change that come springtime. I'm going to go camping, dust off my old tent, which it's been many years. So I guess about 20, because I've been married for 18. Hungry Tom's Hat Next Door says, good evening, Bob, and all the junkies out there. Angry Tom, always a pleasure, sir. Thanks for coming. An American Father. Hello, brethren. Hello, an American Father. And your beagle, or whatever that cutie is. Hero Sticks, nice to have Hero Sticks with us. I was just speaking of you. Evening and cheers, all. Bob, I got notification the knife I won last week arrived. Can't wait to check it out. All right, cool. You must be spending your week at your time at the your better halves or something like that. Five Door says to wed the XM18. All right, that's 2 for the XM18 to wed. Bed the Les George MK3. I think that is that's the fixed blade kind of trench knife, not with the knuckles, but with the forward top quillion, I think. And Dead Demko 8020.5. An interesting and probably very unpopular and polarizing choice for the Barry. I get it. I totally get it. I don't. That wouldn't be on my list. Mine is way worse than that. But I get it. I do get it. But it's great. The 8020.5 is an awesome way to get behind the wheel of an Andrew Demko or a Demko knife without having to get a an expensive one. But I hear you. But does that feel funny saying that? It must, because it's like one of those things that, man, the knife verse, the Blado verse is gonna rake you over the coals, bro. It's gonna be terrible, bro. Everything is bro. I don't like it. I'm not a bro guy. I'm a dude guy, and I didn't grow up on the West Coast, but dude is much better than bro to me. And bro, man, young girls saying bro all the time, bro. It's like, don't bro me, and definitely don't bro me if you don't know me. Jay Demeter, hola from Honolulu. Great to have you here, Jay. Always a pleasure. Honolulu's got to be gorgeous. I've only ever been to Hawaii once, and I never left the airport, unfortunately. Jerry C, I already greeted you, but it is still good to have you here. There's a great documentary on on Loveless on YouTube, and now that is going to get written down, so my old ass doesn't forget it. Kind of dated, but very good. He was certainly a craftsman, the most certainly a craftsman, as most custom designers are. So in case any of you wonder who Bob Loveless was, he created a number of different classic fixed blade knife patterns. Chief among them, in my opinion, is the sub hilt fighter with the long, slender, fully double-edged clip point blade. And then, of course, this sub hilt, which allows for easy extraction when you're pulling it out of whatever you've thrust it into, but also with, it's got a clip point, so you might be using some Bowie knife style fighting, and it gives you something for your fingers to grip on, because you're going to be holding it sort of drumstick like for some maneuvers, like snap cuts and stuff like that, but it gives you great purchase and like highly reduces the chance of you slipping off the back of the blade. That's what I'm trying to say. Bob Loveless, that's cool. I got to check that out. Another one of his famous designs is the Shoot knife, which is really cool. Look that up. Shoot like parachute, so CHUTE. And then another one, the New York Special. That's another cool one. All right, let me Loveless Doc. Sorry, guys. I know it's kind of antisocial to be writing stuff down. If I were younger, I'd be like typing it into notes on my computer, but that's on Netflix. All right. Ron Dobbins, nice to have you here, Ron. The Knife Junkie, how you doing? I'm doing great, man. I love Thursdays. I even love Thursdays at work. Thursdays at work are nice. It's like that's the day where everyone chooses to telework. So, or anyone who does usually does on Thursday. So the office is a little less full of people. I love all the people at my office, truly, at this point. Really do. But it's always nice to have a somewhat empty office. I cannot telework. I mean, I'm allowed to, but I just would be sitting here playing with knives all day. And I can't have that on my conscience because you're also supposed to report what you did during the day. And during COVID, I had to do that. And I'd be like, I emailed clients and I played with, I wrote scripts. And It's like I need to be at work to do my work. It's like a carpenter not going to work. Well, I measured, double checked my measurements and my plans. Yeah, sure you did. No, you didn't. You played with your knives all day. All right, Benedict Odie says, "Hey Bob, I know I sent you an email about wanting to send you something. Not sure if you got the email, but if you didn't, let's talk sometime." Benedict, I don't remember seeing that. Did you send it to TheKnifeJunkie@gmail.com? If you send it to the to robertdemarco@mac.com, I probably didn't see it because at this point I have 20,000 unread emails. That's the first email address I have ever gotten. But Benedict, I'm sorry to do this. I'm sorry to ask this, but please resend the email or just send me an email saying, Bob, search for my name. If you did send it to TheKnifeJunkie@gmail.com, I'll check it out. Why does that sound familiar? Well, maybe I did see it and responded and left it on my desktop at work or something like that. I'm not sure, but please, Benedict, write me back because I'm always looking to be exposed to knives that I haven't tried. I'd love to check out whatever you want me to check out. But also, I just don't want any email to go unanswered. Craig Vincent says, to bed, Spyderco Volatin. Very nice. To wed, 3V8010. Oh, very nice choice. Yes. To bury the QSP Penguin. To send to hell the Gerber Flat Iron with the Parafame trailing it. Craig, you and I are of equal mind, my friend. I will be showing mine in a minute, and it will resonate. That's funny. Straight to hell. Ron Dobbin says, hit that thumbs up, everyone. Yes, hit that thumbs up. And I also want to mention to you knife junkies, gentleman junkies, this is the giveaway knife today, or I should say for the month of February 2025. We're giving away this Hades by Damned Designs. And it is a great knife designed by Mr. Rahman. It is beautiful. I love the pivot. I love the handle is very, very comfortable. And of course, that incredible clip point blade is beautiful. It will also be coming with the outstanding Work Sharp Sharpener's guided field sharpener, which has become my go-to. This one's mine right here. My go-to sharpener. I love this thing. Yeah, it's great. So I will be sending both of these to whomever wins this and whomever's name, if that's the way you would say it, pops up on the Wheel of Destiny in roughly a half hour. I'm sure I'll talk past it, and Jim will have to remind me. But yeah, definitely to check that out. Please do. I need to. This was in a dangerous place, so forgive me for a moment while I put this back in its sheath on the wall. Okay, there we go. All right. Ron says, the Knife Junkie, I just picked up the GSD V2 integral knife. GSD. Wait, this is sounding familiar. Version 2 integral knife. GSD. Okay, Ron, give me a little more. I'm sorry, GSD. I know I've heard of those letters together. It's just not ringing a bell. Or it's ringing a bell. I just can't see the bell. So help me out. Gibbs ATX says, Knife Center just released the Sword Coffin Bowie. Awesome. Speaking of Sword, let me just pull out the Von Temsky. Happened to just have the Von Temsky Bowie. This is a Sword, and they're out of New Zealand, and I love this thing. This was also a gift from my brother. I'd be in a knife deficit without that man. He's gotten me some of the coolest stuff I have, and this is one of them. Sword makes a mean ass knife. I mean, just look at this, and it weighs. It's solid. This will hew off anything you're looking to hew off. It's an awesome Bowie knife. So the Coffin Bowie, I don't know what that looks like from Sword, but now I'm fascinated and intrigued, and I should probably check it out. Something I want to show you cool about this is that the guard here really extends pretty generously over the side here. If you're catching blades and that kind of thing, This might be able to really protect your hands on the lateral uh, portion of the hand. Really nice knife. Very heavy. This would be a great all around sort of frontier knife, though it's heavy. But I mean, just chopping. No, okay, defending your life, yes, but also chopping and doing all sorts of camp tasks. This thing is awesome. It also has a nice convex edge to it. Not sure if you can see that there, but really, really nice. Um, you know, yeah, you see that? Can you see that? Yeah, there you go. Nice rounded off edge. It is beautiful, and you can see all the heat treat scale on it. Gorgeous. What did you have up there from Have a Knife Day? Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, just tell me that that is not a sharpened swedge. If that's a sharpened swedge, it suddenly shifts from extremely desirable to moral imperative. Let's see. Oh, that swedge is looking pretty sharp. You know, you can tell when you look at the very top part of the swedge where it meets the spine. If it looks, oh, and it's got that kind of, oh, that's definitely sharp. Ooh, I wish you had never mentioned that. Now I'm going to be like thinking about it. Now I'm going to be thinking about that stupid thing. It's not even a good looking knife. It's not even like an awesome, deadly, cool Bowie knife. Uh, Sword Coffin Bowie. All right. Thank you, Gibbs. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Jeez. I love the look of that. And I love a coffin handle. Ryan Lynch says, one to wed, the Giant Mouse Ace Tribeca Titanium. I can't. Okay, Giant Mouse, it's a given. It's beautiful. But I can't remember what the Tribeca is besides Triangle Below Canal in New York City. One to bed, Spyderco Techno 3. So that's a Sleesh. And one to bury, the Kershaw Mini Iridium. Really? Ryan, I love the Iridium. I love the normal size Iridium. I think I really love it. And I want to get the automatic version of it. Is it just the Mini Iridium, or do you just not like the whole knife? I like it. I'm in no way judging anyone's choices here, but that struck me as wow, this man's got some refined taste. Craig Vincent says, I practice my Bowie stuff too, Bob. It looks nothing like what you're doing, though. It looks more like I stepped off on a hot coal while barefoot and simultaneously having a seizure. Well, Craig, I have the benefit of being close to a camera, so anything I do looks cool. But here's something to practice. And if you saw the my video with Brian Canada of American Calice Americano with the back cut. You know, the back cut is this thing where you use the swedge, the false edge, bang, to basically flick, and you can do a gouge, tear, cut, all sorts of nastiness with that. It was oftentimes used on an incoming arm or an arm left out. If someone's like way out here, like, oh, I'm going to cut you, bang. But also, he was like, if you come in with this angle one, which is from your shoulder to your hip, and then right when it's kind of out of view, kind of over here, you flip it over like this, flip it over, whang, you get this, and it's also like a tip thrust, but it's a downward tip thrust, and you can get it in. I mean, this is all theoretical until you actually do it, but it's a fun thing to practice. Bang, bang. I love Bowie knife stuff. And then also practice the mountain man style with the swedge forward, hitting with that and then thrusting and pulling out. Just hideously effective, I would imagine. An American Father says, normally I would let it slide. However, my black and tan coonhound Boone, oh, I would be highly offended at the Beagle comment. Well, good. I'm glad that you have a black and tan coonhound Boone, because I'll tell you what, I think that Beagles are a pain in the ass. And the only reason I say that is because we had some good friends when we lived in New York, and they were awesome. But they would go out of town and we would have to take care of their dog. And those dogs, man, their noses are just too much. They were like, and walking in New York, he was skittish. And then he would go after napkins because people walk around New York. I think I've mentioned this recently. wiping their face, wiping the pizza sauce off their face, and they drop their napkin. And he would go and he would eat napkins, and then it would make him sick, and then we'd have to clean that up. And it was like, oh my God, have some self-control, Beagle. They're not all Snoopy, let's put it that way. But I like that yours is a black and tan coonhound. Is that what you called it? Well, I'm sorry, I did not mean to offend your awesome dog. Josh 304, and it's a relief to know that it's not a beagle. Josh 304, nice to have you here, Josh. Howdy. Bob, how's it? It's great. Is that some sort of a cool Native American orca picture? I like that. That's a really cool avatar there. Nice to have you here, Josh. Stephen Clayton, our resident TKL Knives aficionado. Nice to have you here, sir. Good evening, everyone, he says. Coffee and knives. No coffee for me, just water. However, we went out tonight, had a little just, we haven't been out to dinner in a long time. We went to our favorite sort of local diner. It's kind of a shishi place. Like, it's not an all-out diner. They can't do all-out diner around here. They have to do, like, throw some kale in there. But I had awesome steak and eggs and a little glass of wine with it. Because, steak, you're supposed to have wine with steak. It's very nice. Very, very nice. And they nailed the steak. It was so good. Five Door says, regarding the AD 20.5, I can't stand the index finger operation. Clickety clackety. No detent shark lock. Clickety clackety. I've tried them all, and the 20.5 was the worst. I realized they're beloved. Interesting. Let's see. Yeah, you're right. You can totally whip it out. But you know what? Here's you can whip out a triad lock too. I know. I got you. You're either for the clickety clackety or you're not. I think some people, the fidget factor is auditory as well. It's not just because you can tell. You just watch many videos of people. Listen to this. Listen to this. Craig Vincent says, last night I saw a Bagwell bowie for sale on Arizona Custom Knives. I was so close to pulling the trig. Craig, I'm going to go right after this and check it out. And I will have late night to blame. Like, I don't know. I'm just going to press the button. Nah, that's not going to happen because they don't have my credit card. That's the only way that sort of mistake can happen. But Bagwells, you know how I feel about that. Actually, I'm going to be interviewing Rolando Escatado this coming Saturday. That'll come out 2 Sundays hence. Can't wait to talk to him about all sorts of bowies, but he's got a number of Bagwells. He knew Bill Bagwell and had a number of Bagwell bowies custom made for him. So, man, can't wait to talk about that. Jacob Green, our Krav Maga specialist. Good to have you here with us, man. Just got back from fishing on the beach by Point Mugu along Pacific Coast Highway in California. Now, I've been there. Well, I've driven the Pacific Coast Highway, and I love it. Found it so beautiful. Used my SC3 and really put that warranty to the test. Yeah, with the salt water. Oh, Jacob, you saw the sunset over the... beautiful, beautiful. Well, thanks for joining us here, man. Appreciate it. James Hart, to wed the Western W49, dated 1984. Mine's in the 80s somewhere. I'm not sure what date mine is. Bed the Buck Kalinga skinning knife. All right, James, don't leave me hanging, man. The Kalinga is beautiful and exotic looking. But what are you going to bury? Tell me what you don't want. Michael Upchurch. Gaw, what? Is that a giveaway? What? Well, anyway, Michael, it's awesome to have you here. My parents know an Upchurch, I believe, in Ohio. But just in case you meant giveaway, yes, the Gentleman Junkies will be getting the Hades, one of these lucky sons of guns, to bury an old World War II bayonet. Oh, man, you're making me sad. I'm going to get to that in a quick sec. You're going to get a work sharp gear, guided field sharpener, and the Dam Design Hades. Such an awesome knife and an awesome field sharpener. Now, you mentioned the World War II bayonet. I get it. I think I get it. I have a bunch of them that my brothers got me over the years and that I've gotten from flea markets. I got one in Germany, in West Berlin when there was such a thing back in the 80s. And I think it might be because they have no edge. They're very, very dull on the edge, but they're still cool to have, aren't they? As a matter of fact, I should have one up here, just with this historical panoply. I need to dig one out. Now, my brother gave me one, a German one from World War II that he got in Vienna one year, and it's got a broken tip. And that one's always given me the willies. I gotta be honest. But I respect everyone's choices. I'm not trying to say anything, but it's interesting that you chose a World War II bayonet. Michael Upchurch says, hello, gentlemen. Well, hello to you, Michael. Nice to have you here with us, man. Would it kill a zombie? Yes. Everything on my table, everything on my desk right now would kill a zombie. Pretty much. Except this Rode mic. Split and Slices says, one to wed, the Spartan Harsey Defensa. I love that. It's beautiful. Anything by Harsey to me is beautiful. One to bed, Randall Knives, 1/6 fighter. A 1/6. I don't know if I've seen a 6-inch fighter. I think 7 is the shortest I've seen. One to Barry, the K-Bar Big Brother utility fighter. That is a Doug Marcaida. Do you know that Doug Marcaida designed the Big Brother? Yes, he did. I mean, there's not much design to it. I mean, it looks pretty much like a big K-Bar, but that's interesting. Interesting choices. See, we have a lot of depth in our audience. I think that's cool because pretty much everything except for Craig Vincent's, I would take your berries. I would take them, except for the Gerbers Craig mentioned. I'm going to get to mine in a second. Hello, Autumn Wind. Nice to have you here, Autumn Wind. Hello, Bob. Hello, all, he says. And greetings to you, Autumn Wind. Loser says, I like the premium mini iridium. Oh, yeah, that they sell on their website in titanium and S35 VN. And doesn't that also have a nice Warncliffe blade? Turning in soon, so dropping my carry list below. Be well, junkies. All right. So, OG, Dave, after you drop yours, we'll get to my pocket check, and then we'll get along to our giveaway. But in case we don't check in with you at all, thank you again for your donation to this channel and to our Gentleman Junkies. This is a very generous donation from Dave. And by the way, OG Blade Reviews, I know you watch his stuff, but he keeps his knives immaculate. When I get them, it's like they're brand new off the shelf. So thank you, sir. All right, OG Blade Reviews. Today's carry, the Concept Lucio Fixie. I don't know that one. The Kunwu Gringo, that's a beauty. The Pinkerton Siafu, very nice. I liked your video on that, by the by. The Concept Vivid, the T-Kel Adversary, and Banawi Camlock Baton. Oh, okay. Is that, what is that? Do a video on that. I know it's a baton, and Camlock makes me think it's a sort of a telescoping baton, but I'm curious about this. That sounds interesting. Anyway, Dave always has the cool stuff on him for sure, and his collection is absolutely epic. And I don't say epic unless I'm talking about old Greek poetry. Stephen Clayton Jr. says, T-Kel Agent 007 drops tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That said, let us now get to a pocket check.
What's in his pocket? Let's find out. Here's the Knife Junkie with his pocket check of knives.
Heard something weird. Today in my front right pocket, yes, indeed, I had my brand new Voyager XL Vaquero serrated, and I just received 2 new Snaggletooth MFs from Rob Pena over at Snaggletooth. It's Snaggletooth. I hadn't gotten one in a while, and I knew that I wanted one on this knife, so I ordered up 2, and I love the aluminum. They do them pretty much, I think, all in aluminum now, and different colors. You can get different anodizations, but I figured this knife is all business. I have the serrated signature version with the green handle and the black blade, kind of a collector's thing. And I have the non-serrated normal Aus 8 version. So naturally, this being Lynn Thompson's absolute favorite carry fighting knife, I had to get it just like this, with the the standard pedestrian walk around version with the Aus 10 steel and the black handle. And I knew I would want a wave capability. Though not for nothing, you can wave it out of your pocket, especially your back pocket, using the big thumb studs that come with it if you practice it. But practicing it, you could really kind of gnarl up your pants a bit. So this is what I was carrying today. I did not have it clipped to my pocket. I have yet to sand down this grivery or loosen the clip, so it's a pretty tight affair. But it's a big enough knife that in jeans, it just sort of stays oriented properly, right to south, north to south, and it buries itself in the pocket. My pocket seam was right about at the top, so I could just dig it in, put my hands in, pull it out, and snap it open. I love this thing. I really, really, this is one of my favorite knives of all time. I have a sizable collection of Vaqueros at this point. The Vaquero Grande, before that blade shape was even in the Voyager family. And then I have the Voyager, or the El Hombre, that was the small version, and then the Voyager versions of it. So I have this about 6 different ways, and I just love it. I'm a huge fan of the Voyager Vaquero. In my back left pocket, I had the not good with my left hand here. Let me do this. I had the Jack Wolf Knives Primo Jack. This is the beautiful flipping, locking, bolster locking version of the Big Bro. So it's in the Big Bro, Little Bro family, and it's the big cousin because that's a 3 1/4 inch blade, S90V, and this version has a hand rubbed satin and beautiful linen micarta, black linen micarta. It's so nice with the bronzed hardware. I love the look of the clip. That bronze looks purple in certain lights, this light included. But look at that blade shape. If you look at the straight line that comprises the spine of the blade and the top of the handle, that edge dips down pretty radically, very much like a lot of clip point blades on traditional slip joint knives. And that essentially acts as a recurve. Drawing material towards the belly as you cut through it really accelerates the cut. And also, if you are using the belly more than anything else, which you're most likely to across time, as you sharpen the dullest areas of this, you will still have a nice clip point shape for a long, long time. But this is S90V, and it's also, I'm not a hard user, and it's one of many, many knives that I have. So I will never have to, hopefully, ever have to sharpen through that belly and change the shape of that knife. But that's kind of the concept with that deep descending belly on a traditional knife. All right, next, I had a lot of knives. I had 5 when I usually have 4. Next is something we'll see. It's big brother in the state of the collection. But today I had the Mamushi Mini on me from Gross Motor Gear. You might follow Sean Old, Gross Motor Gear, on Instagram. Let me clean this off. I have for quite a while. He makes these beautiful Pakal style knives. He makes a dagger. He makes a couple of other knives. But look at that. It's got the beautiful Minuki in there under the Sukamaki wrap. And it's just a gorgeous Pakal style knife. I've got the sheath here. The sheath is breaking in. At first, I had difficulty not removing the blade, which is the more important part, but getting it back in and having it seat correctly. But over the past couple of days since I've had this, it's really worked in, and it's becoming easier and easier, especially, from the awkward angle of having it in the 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock position. It's going in there nice and easy now. I put on this DCC clip, and the knife came with this piece of inner tube on it, and that kind of keeps. I have a single lashing point here with that screw, and it keeps the clip in place on the at the angle I want it, and also stops it from moving around under the waistband. But this thing is really comfortable. It's comfortable also in a forward grip, like really comfortable, more than any other Pakal style knife. It's very comfortable in this grip. It's also comfortable in that grip, which is also unusual for this style knife. So you've got all these different comfortable grip shapes with those with that handle and that blade. And it's just a sweet, beautifully done and nasty thing. I'm going to have Sean on the show sometime soon. Next up, also a nasty Pakal. I'm going to use my right hand to open it. The Vendetta from DC Blades. I've been loving this thing, carrying it a lot in my back left pocket right next to my bandana. And it's awesome. M390 blade steel. You've got the micro milled titanium frame lock here with really beautiful inserts of silver foil carbon fiber, a removable pocket catch / wave feature, and just a gorgeous hawkbill blade. This whole thing is just amazing. And the comfort of the grip is outstanding. This is a DC Blades. This is Tier 1 Gear Reviews and Old Squirrel Knives together. They are DC Blades, and they've been just going at it like it's going out of style. So they have this. They have another knife coming out real soon called the Sting. And then I've seen all sorts of prototypes that Justin of Tier 1 Gear Reviews and DC Blades has sent pictures of. Man, he's at a fevered pitch with his designing and prototyping and all of that. So very excited to see his success, and also very excited to have his knife. It's so cool. Let me see if I can straighten that out a little bit. There we go. I don't know why, but the non-parallel lines are driving me nuts. And then my last knife on me today, this was an emotional support knife in my bag, the Laredo Bowie. I know I've been talking about this knife a lot recently, but I had this in my bag, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that in the morning I'm messing around with the trainer. And I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be cool, just in case I get in a Bowie knife fight today, if I had the one I've been training with, basically. So yeah, as you can see, they're the same. I'm gonna put this down here. Same size and shape, just a very different weight, as this is light plastic and this is heavy steel and faux cocobolo. I don't know if that means it's real wood, but they're making it look like cocobolo, therefore it's faux, or if it's just not wood. I've never been able to figure that out, actually. But beautiful knife. I've had this one a long time, ever since they were in the leather sheaths, and I miss those days. I talk about it all the time. I do wish Cold Steel would go back to leather sheaths. All right, guys, what are you carrying? I've been hogging up the airwaves here. Let me know what you've got on you today and what you've been carrying, and also which ones you want to wed, which to bed, and which to bury. I'm going to show you my choice for those. And we're also going to do this Gentleman Junkie knife giveaway here soon. So lots going on. Yep. All right, let's see. Timothy Chadwick. Nice to see you here, Timothy. Hang on. He says, good evening, Bob. Well, good evening to you, Timothy. Knife to wed, but we're still I hear you. I'm courting the gin as well. Turner CNC gin. To bed, the Bastinelli Mako. Oh, yeah. To bury, the Cat's Knives Alley Cat. What is that? Jim, if you could, at some point, see if you could find that on Google. I'd love to see what that is. Because Cat's Knives and then the Alley Cat with a K, a little on the nose. Sounds pretty cheesy. And sight unseen, I'm with you. Hero Sticks, one to wed, something obscene company, J Cape. Absolutely. And actually, the only one I've ever really lived with was yours, Hero, when you loaned it to me back when. One to bed, the Birch Tree Blade Works Secant. And that was the other. That was another one that was in that same batch. That is a beautiful knife. That secant is gorgeous. One to Barry. The Boker Plus Field Folder. Huh. Not sure. I definitely know. I don't know which one that is, but I'm with you. Oh, that's a relatively new folder, right? The field folder, like within the last 2 years, maybe. Interesting. All right, do you guys want to see mine? Well, let's see. Have a knife day. The big brother with the spine serrations. I feel it takes away from the baton capabilities. They can go to the train station. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot it had the spine serrations. The Alley Cat series fixed blade. Oh my gosh, you're not the only one. Well, two things. First of all, look at the ratings. It's got 2 stars, and this looks an awful lot like another knife, a Kizzlyar maybe or something. But this is not even on my radar, and it's $223 for a fixed blade. That blade, I've seen that on another knife, but I'm with you. I hate it. All right, so I've got a lot for all of these, but Professor EDC says, sorry, we have a blackout in the area and the power goes on and off. Oh man, Professor EDC, I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm glad we're with you. I got to say, like, for as much as I have all these knives and I'm learning how to build fires, and I want to, oh my God, the power goes out for like 2 minutes and I'm like, it's an EMP. I'm like checking everything, making sure that like some things still work. Because because I'm a spaz. Jerry C says the stories any knife from World War II era could tell is so interesting to me. Some good and some bad for sure. The history is incredible, as is the man who from the greatest generation that fought. Yes, I agree 100%. Like even if it was deployed, even if it was issued to a guy in the typing pool. It's still interesting. It's an interesting bit of history. I agree with you. Mark Stallman says, a lot of knives to like or love. My hard-used Western 49 Bowie, I'm married to. Harvey Dean Bowie to bed. I've buried a few. Only left is the CRKT home front. Oh, Mark, man, I like your taste. Bowie's. You added the pickpocket to it. Yes, I did. This is the Snaggletooth MF, Snaggletooth Tactical. He was one of my very first interviews, if not my first. Rob Penna, the guy who started this company. And the aluminum they're $24, and you can get it on the left side. You can get a lefty or a righty, and he sends a bunch of screws that will fit into most thumb stud female sides, and then he also sends a thumb stud just in case none of those do. So it's awesome. These are awesome. I love the plus on this knife. Not that it doesn't have a generous handguard, which it does, but it's nice to have that positive grip on the thumb too, if you have to thrust it into something. J. Demeter says 2 military 2, one 15V and S10V, and Yojimbo in S90V, all with fresh razor edge. Ooh, very nice, man. 2 military 2s. That's really nice. James Hart says, it is a bayonet M6. The scabbard is all metal and very tight. Maybe jump ready. Okay. It just does not hold an edge. I got it in a trade back in '84, and I've never had to use it. Never had any use for it. The bayonet, M6 bayonet. Is that the one? Is it kind of like sort of survival knife-y? Like it's got a whole bunch of extra stuff, like a wire cutter and all that? Or am I thinking of something else? James Hart says, or Jerry C says, James Hart, I would keep it just for the history, brother. Yeah, that's how I feel about it. Or, you can always stab it into someone if they're busting into your house. So maybe you screw it on the back of the door. We used to have in New York, I had a Glock field knife clone that my brother got years and years ago. I didn't even, before I knew anything about Glock pistols or anything, like very early 80s. And then he gave it to me, and I still have it somewhere. But that used to be screwed to the back of our door of our apartment in New York City, because I figured we could open it up to the chain and have my hand on the handle. And then if someone busted in, I could just pull it out and thrust it. It was like a big thrusting tool, basically a sharpened pry bar with not too good an edge. So maybe that's the purpose. It's a back door knife, or back of the front door knife. But probably you're not living like that, like most people. Jammin Parker says, today's carry, dagger and knot hound. I don't know that. Half-face blades, cardiac spike, very nice. And a 940. Nice, just for the sheeple. What's that dagger and knot? Stephen Clayton Jr. says, Agent 001. Excellent choice, sir. An excellent choice. I just so happen to have one right here, which I never, ever fail to pull out. I have it on good word that there are more of these coming. Let me hold this here. Beautiful choice. The 2 and the 3, I have those also. All 3 of them are awesome. The 2 is like a Warncliffe. The 3 is the Night Stalker blade on this handle. The Combatant, the Adversary, the Taylor's Ridge, all awesome. The Raider, the FLN, the Night Stalker Combat Grade, the CWM2, that's the screwdriver-like one, right? The Folder, the Accomplice. What's the Accomplice? The Gideon V3, the Night Guard 2.0, and a Crudo SD10. SD5. Crudo, I know what their knives look like, but I'm not sure which one the SD5 is. And what's the Accomplice? Why is that? Anyway, Stephen, that sounds awesome. Did you happen to see a design that's being talked about, or on a live feed? I'm just curious. And what do you think of it? Edgy American Blades, nice to have you here, Shane. Oh, Shane, you called me when I was at a volleyball tournament, and I'm sorry I haven't called you back yet. I can't wait to talk to you, because I think I know what we're going to talk about. At least one subject. Very interested to hear that story. Northern Knives, today's carry, Microtech MSI, fully serrated, because I had some cigar lockers delivered for the cigar lounge. Oh man, why do I not live in Anchorage today? And I had to cut through a metric fuck ton of cardboard and shipping packaging. That is a unit of measure we don't hear much about. BK, nice to have you here, BK. I have both a single edge and double edge mamushi. I love these blades. Oh, dude, a double edge. That sounds awesome. I love them too. They're beautiful. I'm going to show my big one here in a second. King of Blades, nice to have you here, King of Blades. I'm wearing the TKL 005 Tarani CQC Ridgeback, plus the Raider and a Buck Marksman. Another man of refined taste. Those Tarani knives are cool. Actually, speaking of the volleyball tournament, one of my daughter's teammate's father is a former Marine sniper and does a lot of other stuff, and he was talking all about Steve Tarani that weekend, because we were bonding on weapons basically, and he was like, knives, I've met Steve Tarani, and we've trained together and all this, and what a cool guy Steve Tarani seems to be. Stephen Clayton Jr. says, forgot the Wingard Wearables micro dick pic. How could you forget that? That is such an awesome one. I think, honestly, I like the micro better than the full size. I like the full size a lot. It's just harder to carry. Though maybe it's not that hard, especially in the winter. This part, you got to be careful about how you carry it. At first, I carried this in the waistband, and this was too menacing on my love handles. But once I'm a shredded, bronzed god, I won't have to worry about that. But somehow, I can't just will that into being without doing a lot of hard work. So James Hart says, okay, what I carry today, my Cold Steel Voyager drop point with 4-inch blade. Such a nice knife. I wish they would continue the jimping across the entire field. And since I did not win it, oh, yes, The Grow EF123. Well, you know what? It's a very nice blade. Used to break down boxes today. Awesome. Beyond the Edge 72, or Over the Edge 72, has not gotten back to me with his address. I was kind of hoping to see him here, and I don't know how to get in touch with him. So his Grow is waiting to be sent out to him. James Hart says, okay, not a World War II bayonet. It was built to mount the M14. Oh, so like maybe Vietnam era. M14s are cool. Who wouldn't want an M14? Mini 14s are cool too. Totally different animal, I know, but the M14, what a freaking cool rifle that is. Paul Mills says the K390 rebladed AD 20.5. Very nice. And an American Blade Works slip joint today. All right. Let me show you my bed, wed, and bury. To bed, Michael Upchurch. I carried my white a white carbon fiber Shaman in M390. Damn. And a gray Convoy M21FW SFT40 emitter. What the hell is that, man? Are those two different things? M21F sounds almost like a knife with, oh no, okay, so this is a flashlight with SFT40 emitter. Michael, after I'm done with this, explain what that last thing is. You got some splaining to do. Okay, to bed. This is my Herman Knives Ishtar. I rarely carry it. It's a little fussy, as you might expect a two-bed choice to be. It takes like a T20 to tighten the pivot, and I haven't backed out that pivot and put on any sort of Loctite. And though it's got beautiful action, the centering goes off after, a day of fidgeting, and then you have to tighten it back up. I know that's easily and quickly remedied. I just haven't done it, but it is beautiful, refined, expensive. It's got an unusual gravel road texture on that high voltage green anodized titanium. It's just a beautiful, beautiful, compelling knife. Though it's like I carry it once or twice and then I put it down for a long time. So we're going to say that is to bed. To wed, I'm sorry to say this. I'm not sorry to say this, but mine tonight, I've got, could go with many different choices, but this is one of my emergency out the door knives, and it's the AD20 machine ground from Demco Knives out of Wampum, PA. So this is a made in their shop, but machine ground blade, meaning that bevel was not put on by them standing at a grinder. And by them, I mean Andrew Demko or his brother. Just an awesome knife, super strong. You can reinforce the blade with your reinforce the lock, which is very, very strong, with your thumb or with your hand. And it's got a fidget factor, but it's thick and serious, unlike the 20.5. Which is fidgety. It's not so thick. It's what I would say is like it's like a Benchmade bug out destroyer. So it's kind of in that realm in terms of lightness and smallness and all that. But the lock is so much stronger and better, in my opinion. So to bed, to wed, and to bury. I think you probably all know what is coming. But yeah, it's the Gerber Paraframe. Now, the reason I still have this Gerber Paraframe is because an awesome guy, a friend of my wife's, who we just celebrated his 50th birthday, actually, this past week. He's a great dude, doesn't know or care about knives, but knows that I do. And when he came to my 50th birthday a couple of years ago, he gave me this. And I was like, I was just touched by the sentiment. But removing all sentiment from this knife, I hate it. I hate the Gerber Paraframe. Well, like with a passion. And it's probably the knife that has kept them in business through all of their follies and whatnot since the since their heyday in the 70s and 80s. So that's my bed, wed, berry. And there you have it. I'm going to leave them out there for a minute just so everyone can glory in it. Yep. All right. So let's do this giveaway. We have some Gentleman Junkies here, and if not, I will let you know that you have won through the old email and whatnot. Let me put these away before I read these guys off. So these are all of our patrons are prized. These are our prized Gentleman Junkies. They are 5-door, Ben Belkin, Billy Ford, Byron Kennedy, Colin Maison-Pierre, Craig Vincent, Donald Fry, Doug Bull, EDC Gear Guy, Edwin Callow, Gavin Kalitis. I'm not sure he's still in there, but I'm going to put him there. Jay McConnell, Jammin Park. Oh, yeah, he is. Okay, sorry. Jammin Parker, Jason, Jeff Hamilton, Jeff Wright, Jesse Tellis, Jock Knife, JVF, Larry Elizondo, Martin Gamboa, Never Enough Knives 007. I couldn't agree more. Pat D's Nuts, Ronald Reimer, Scott Nelson, Thomas Butler, V2, Northern Knives, and Will B. All right, guys. My voice just cracked. All right, so since we have the knife cam up, I'm going to put the knife you stand to win here, right next to the Work Sharp Gear guided field sharpener, which is awesome, right there. All right, Jim, let us do it in 3, 2, and 1. Here it goes, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see who it will stop on. It's the great and powerful Billy Ford. Awesome, Billy. All righty, sir. Well, I look forward to sending this to you, Billy. I'm not sure if you're with us tonight, but Billy's an awesome dude. He's been making knives himself. He's been on this show. He is a long haul driver. At least he was. I'm not sure if he still is. And I am very happy to get these out to him. Billy Ford, winner of the Hades from Dam Designs and the Work Sharp Sharpeners guided field sharpener. Love this thing, and this thing's a beauty. All right. Happy to get this out to you, sir. All right. So let me show you some cool new knives. We were just talking about the Mamushi Mini. I will put this out. I've been carrying this for the past 2 days, as I got it 2 days ago. And this is the full size. Here it is in the sheath. I do not have a carry system on this yet, or a clip. I have not carried this one yet. I've only played with it, noodled with it. Let me show it up close. So Sean Old does a beautiful job with the Tsukamaki wrap. Look at that. This is always a great way to tell how good it is. Turn it on its side and see those alternating peaks and valleys, and these get nice and high. To me, I like it when there are many different ways to get this wrap, but I really am a big fan of when they kind of so this side comes and marries the other side and pulls back on both sides, and then that's what gives you that nice tall peak. And it really gives you a place to bury the fat of your palm and also your fingers. They just fall in those spots there. It gives you an amazing grip. And it's no wonder, samurai had their swords and their knives wrapped like that. And of course, they never complained about grip. You get a great grip on these knives. The ergonomics are awesome. One thing about modern Tsukamaki grips is all of the epoxy that hardens those things, stiffens them, and keeps them in place. In the old days, after and you'll see this next week when you tune into Joe Watson's interview. I have Joe Watson coming on the show. What an awesome guy he is. And he does a lot of this kind of wrapping as well. And he's got a collection of traditional Japanese knives. And those like this, they would have to be rewrapped once a year, twice a year, you'd have to take it to a guy. And you know how the Japanese are, everything is an art form to them. So you would take it to the guy who wraps the handles, and he would wrap it for you and make it tight again. But they didn't have these kind of petroleum-based epoxies to harden the lace and keep it in place. So, but we do now, and I think these sort of traditional Japanese wraps are extremely valid these days. And by valid, I mean they're not just good to look cool and look old-fashioned and to be a tip of the hat to the way things were. They are legitimately awesome modern ways, because the materials, to wrap a handle. Much unlike 550 cord wrapped handles. I can't stand that stuff. It's weird to me, and I want to check out a Montana knife company, Knife, and I know that they've been doing a great business and everything. But I hate that they wrap some of their stuff in 550 cord. I don't know why that sticks in my craw so much, but I didn't like the trend when it first happened years ago, and I don't like seeing it continue. But all of that said, I cannot judge what I have not experienced. So, Montana Knife Company, if anyone out there knows, has any of their knives, chime in. I'm sure they do a great job, but I just don't like 550 cord on a handle. Autumn Wind says, Custom Knife Factory Evo and the Berg Mini Slim today. Very nice. Autumn Wind, you've got good taste, my brother. Craig Vincent says, Cold Steel 3V8010, Talwar 5.5, Swift 3, Frenzy 2, SR1 Light Tonto. I love all of those. I love the SR1 Light Tonto. Been carrying that recently. PM3 in Magnacut, the Manganas Purple Haze Kaimano, awesome. Kaiser Militar, the Rat 1.5 Magnacut, the Best Tech Arctic, and the Holtzman Gorilla Knife Small Fixie. I have that one. Damn, Craig. Holy mackerel. Man, hang on. Let me count. I'm sorry, Jim. Can you go back? 9, 10, 11 knives. Craig, you're just not devoted enough. Paul Mills says, Craig Vincent, if you fall into a lake, you'll probably drown with all these knives. Nice carry, though. Yeah, no kidding, man. Well, at least you can cut yourself free from them. You've got plenty of options. Jacob Green says, I am fortunate enough to have an original U.S. Navy Mark II with the original sheath. Oh, okay. I had one here. If the Mark II is the K-bar, the Marines, the Navy K-bar, I have one too. And not to be like, I have one too, but yeah, I mean, you are lucky, I am lucky. And that's yet another brother purchase, because my brother is so into kind of World War II artifacts and stuff. But yeah, hold on to that thing. Hold fast to that beauty. And let me ask you something. Does it have a sharpened swedge? I'm curious. War Room, because mine doesn't. I'm not sure if it was done after the fact or what. War Room EDC, nice to have you here, sir. What up, y'all? Well, what up with you, man? Good to have you here. Hero Stick says, today I carried a Spyderco chopped smock. So that's the smaller smock in light green Westinghouse micarta. Finch Cimarron, that's a nice one. And the Swiss Army knife Cadet. I love the Cadet. My recent story, I'm sorry to yawn. My recent story about the Cadet is that I found it in some clothes. I was an old suit I was going to be donating. I left it in the pocket. I was like, that's where it is. Jacob Green says, to be fair, bayonets are made to stab, not slice. True enough. True enough. But oftentimes, like, that's your only issue knife. At least that is a case I've heard of. Today's carry, says Shane, the edgy American blades thug. I'm loving this thug, but I'm partial. Dude, I mean, I mentioned it before. I love what you're doing, and you can see how refined your work is getting. Paul Mills was commenting, and I mentioned how I saw the knife you made for him, which was sort of a riff on Jack Wolf knives, and the knife itself looked beautiful, man. James Hart says, nope, it's an M6 made by Imperial, and funny enough, made in 1962, the year I was born. It has nothing special about it. Yeah, 1962. That's pretty cool. So I'm not trying to figure out your age, but my brother and sister were both born in the 60s, 66 and 67, and my brother 67 was 3 when it turned to 1970, and he's always a big fan of saying, you will never have seen the 60s, Bob. You will never have seen the 60s. They were crazy times. I wish you were there. Smart ass. Split and Slices says, Kerry, Milwaukee Fastback, Cold Steel Recon 1. Which one? Because now I know you have 2, right? You have the drop point and you just got the Tonto. Am I right? Am I remembering correctly? Kaiser Elgon. Oh, 5-inch D2 Fixie. Cold Steel Mayhem. Rough Rider Tadpole. For candy wrappers. That's awesome. I don't know the Tadpole. I'm going to put away these awesome mamoushis, but check these out. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that. Dueling mamoushis. All right. I'm glad I didn't stab myself on camera. That would have been very embarrassing. I've done it here. I've cut myself on camera. All right. All right. They have to wear in. Sometimes Pikal sheaths are tricky. Hero Sticks. Bob, have you ever handled anything from Midgard's Messer? Yes, I have. I have. Well, I mean, at their table. I've handled them all at their table, including that giant one. I got to say, I respect the build and everything, but they're just not my thing. I got to say, Midgard's Messer. To me, my reaction to them was my initial reaction and maybe somewhat continued reaction to Medford knives. I'm like, yeah, but why? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you can do it. I don't know. It's just kind of a feeling I have. I'm not a big fan of Midgard's Messer, but it's not out of any sort of animus. It's just not my thing. Paul Mills, my cat just took one of the stinkiest shites I've ever smelled. Cats, man. Yeah. Damn cat. Thank goodness. Thank God for Febreze. Paul Mills, I will tell you something that saved my marriage. Thanks, Jim. I love that. That is awesome. Look at that in the corner right here. Meow. Says, I want knives. 1 year for Father's Day. This is like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. We have a cat, and she's my favorite. I love this cat. Her name is Luna, and she's a badass, and she's very sweet. She loves me. She and I have a special bond. So my favorite, all right, I'm going to tell you a lot. My favorite bathroom in the house, my second office is the one down here in the basement, and that's, of course, where the kitty litter box goes. And 1 year, my wife got, for Father's Day, a litter robot. It's one of those big oval things that it's automatic, and oh my God, it's like you can't smell it unless you're irresponsible and you take too long to empty the bag out of the bottom, which I have been, but I've learned not to be. And man alive, that'll do it. That'll make having a cat like easy breezy. She's an indoor outdoor cat, and I love that. But some nights she'll dip out like at the wrong hour, and because the girls let her out accidentally or whatever, and then you hear foxes, and you're like, oh God. But she chased a fox out of our lawn one day during the day. So anyway, sorry for the stinky shite. Stephen Clayton says, yes, Tim has shared the drawing. No doubt it will be a great fighter. Thank you, sir. Thank you. You know what? He just sent me, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this because he sent me a picture, and I believe I saved it. Yeah, look at this. So this is a new one, a design I sent to Tim. And I'm going to put it under here, see if you can see this. He just did it in AutoCAD. And there you go. And that is my very low-tech way of sharing with you a design that I sent to him that he likes. Let's just put it that way. It's not my company. I can't decide what's going to happen, but I would love to see that knife made by TKL Knives, because I love his stuff and I really like that design. And that's one of those designs that I don't know. Sometimes you make it, you draw something up that just feels like, oh, this would be great for so and so to make. Look at these trees. Nice to have you here. Look, today's carry, White River Exodus 4. Very nice. Micro Dick Pic, deep cut, love it. And the Swiss Army Camper, very nice. Okay, I've been wanting now to get one of these Swiss Tech knives, Swiss Tech Camp knives that everyone's been reviewing and are so awesome. Peterbilt Knife Guy, whose videos I love. Sometimes he does these hammer tests where he will hammer a knife through a nail. Did it through the Walmart, D2 Swiss Tech knife, and it performed better than, well, just offhand, I know it performed better than the Rat 2 and S35 VN or Rat 1, and many, many other like way more esteemed brands. So I'm interested in checking out that Swiss Tech. Jammin Parker says, Bob, DeGranat is a small CNC machined blade company. Owner's name is Keller. Really nice guy and some really cool tactical EDC blades and tomahawks. Check it out. Okay, I feel like maybe dagger and knot. I'm going to have to IG him. Dagger and knot. All right. Thank you, sir. Ed says, carried the 80-20 Shark's Foot today. Okay, so the Shark's Foot, I have the 80-20.5 Shark's Foot. I got that because I didn't want to get another clip point because I had this one. And I really regret it because I do not like the Shark's Foot blade. I just don't. Not that it's not a perfectly good blade, but I just don't like it. And I think why is because I like to know that I can stab with whatever I have on me. And you just cannot stab with that knife. You can kind of peck and cut with the tip and then insert or whatever, but you just can't stab with that knife. But I bought it for myself, or no, I didn't buy it. That was a gift from John Demko right before I turned 50, and I really appreciated it. So it has a good place in my heart, but I just kind of wish I said, send me a clip point. But respect to you for carrying it, and respect to them for designing a unique blade shape. Hero Stick says, Bob, they say the crowd is fickle. Indeed. Would you say that that's true of the knife community as brands lose popularity without necessarily decreasing their quality, production, and designs? That's very interesting you pose that question, Hero Sticks, because before I do this show, I think of different things that I can make a topic of conversation, and I've talked about that a little bit, and I've thought about that a lot. Like when you think of a dated knife design, I feel like you can look at the past 10 years and kind of break it up into 2 or 3 year segments and say, oh, that's a very 2008 design, or that's a very 2015 design, or yeah, I do think the crowd is fickle, even in the knife world. I mean, there's some brands that, two different kinds of brands that can weather that. A brand like Civivi or Tops, I know they're two very different kind of companies, but they are companies that have giant catalogs. And then Civivi, I think, tends to discontinue a little bit quicker than Tops, but they have such huge catalogs that people who missed out on something can catch up, and they can also sell their stuff on different purveyors and Amazon and stuff like that. I don't think Topps does, or maybe they do. So they have a real broad base of designs and stuff, so that if you like Civivi's old stuff, you can still get it. If you like their new stuff, it's all over the place. But then the other kind of company that can remain immune is like a Chris Reeve Knives or an Emerson or a Hinderer, and it's like they are considered modern folding knife classics. And there will always be a market, or there seems like there will always be a market for Emersons. There are guys like me who will always gravitate towards that. I think Cold Steel might fall into that category too, but there will always be Sebenza wanters, and there will always be what was the other one I said? Well, you get my point. Emerson, Chris Reeve Knives, Hinderer, like just they're kind of timeless in that if you like really rugged knives and you like kind of a design, and they're not changing with the wind. So you either have a huge catalog or a small catalog. I think it's the ones in between, and maybe the people who kind of pop out with knives and have a lot of exciting success immediately with a design, and then maybe a follow-up design, but then it starts to like run its course. Yeah, I do think that the crowd is fickle, and maybe not fickle, but we're always kind of looking for new stuff. Edgy American Blade says, I'm gonna bed them all, wed none, and bury my regrets in the end of the day. So is life. Edgy American, always edgy. No, I appreciate the sentiment there. It's like the bulls. It's like the young bull and the old bull looking down at the field full of cows, and the young bull is like, let's go down there and screw all those cows. Let's run down there and screw all them cows. And the old bull's like, no, let's like stroll down there. I don't know. Sorry, I'm fucking it up as usual. Let's run down there and screw that cow. And he's like, no, let's walk down there and screw them all. That's what I'm trying to get at. You look it up. You'll see it better online. Paul Mills says, I got my damn pinky again with my 80-20.5. This is the third time in about a week. Oh, flipping it open and like this, doing this, Paul. And then your pinky kind of just gets in the wrong spot. Michael Upchurch, thank you, sir. It's a flashlight with a 21700 battery with medium-sized reflector and an SFT 40 LED, which has good throw and some decent spill and flood. Convoy is a Chinese flashlight company that lets you pick parts. Oh, that's cool. Michael, I'm not quite a flashlight nerd, but I've got a couple that I really like. And you're like, which ones? And I'm like, can't remember, except for the Olights. I like the Olights, but I have a big one that's pretty gnarly. Big meaning, it's small, but it's got a super bright light, a crenulated bezel, and it's got an immediate. It's got an option for immediate strobes. You don't have to cycle through in case you have to blind a sucker before you come up and smack them. Jerry C says, keeping it simple to wed a good old-fashioned buck 110 fixed blade. To bed Cold Steel SRK to Barry Kershaw Showtime, along with that cheating bitch ex-wife. Nice. All right, let me show you this. G-Ball Vision. I knew I liked you, Bob. Wed 80-20. Right on. You know what I mean? She's going to be solid, sturdy, and you can count on this knife in a pinch. That's for sure. Michael Upchurch, is the giveaway for members only? Dang. Well, here's the thing, Michael. Tonight's giveaway was only for patrons of our Gentleman Junkie level, but we do like every week show up because we do a giveaway a lot. The Gentleman Junkie is always a special giveaway, but we do giveaways like almost every week because I have generous friends like Dave of OG Blade Reviews who sends me boxes of knives that he's bought, reviewed, and then he sends along to me, and I give them to you. So stick around, come next week and the week after that, because we did a giveaway last week, like we do almost every week, and the gentleman still has not sent me his address. On the Edge 72. Come on the Edge 72. Send me your address. But my point is, Michael, we do a lot of giveaways. You don't necessarily have to be a Gentleman Junkie, but for the more special ones, yeah, that's how we do it. James Hart says, I also have the Worksharp Gear field guided field sharpener. The fine diamond plate gets loaded pretty fast, but you can clean it with a scrubby brush and some dish soap. Exactly. I have a little wire brush. I just and kind of gets rid of all that. G-Ball Vision says 550 wrap should be an emergency wrap. Agreed. I agree 100%. It's too mushy. It's too thick. I mean, gutted paracord is okay, but I just don't like it as a handle, as a permanent handle material. It's not a good long-term solution. Over under pull. Nice to see you here, sir. Great night. Thank you for this content. It is my pleasure, sir. Thank you for coming. Let me show you this cool knife that just came to me from Civivi. Will B says Hinderer XM24 Battlefield Pickup, ProTech TR4. I love that knife. Microtech Amphibian, again, love it. Microtech Hera 2, T-Kel Night Stalker CQC, Heretic Slight, I don't know that one. Olight Baton 3, Ace Beam Tech 2AA, and the Heretic Thoth Pen. I will refrain from making fun of the word Thoth, which does not roll off my tongue. So this is a new one coming out from Civivi. Let me read you the stats here. This is the Perfrico, just like your ex-girlfriend. The Perfrico is a beautiful dagger-esque, and we'll get to the esque part in a minute. Beautiful dagger-esque knife from Civivi. You've got a 4.5-inch blade of 14C28N, hardened to 57 to 59 HRC. You got beautiful contoured G10 handles with a very nicely milled pattern. Full tang construction with a tang that stands slightly proud of the handle, but it's all crowned, so it's comfy. Here's the thing. Here's the rub. It is a single edge dagger, which I know, I get it. You do that for legal purposes because most places you're not supposed to have a double-edged anything, but I will be sending this to someone, I'm not sure who, to put a second edge on it so I can keep it. Otherwise, it will just always bother me that it's a perfectly good dagger with only one cutting edge. But I get it. They got to do that for their purposes. They have different colorways for this. And look at this handle in not cross section, but from the top. It's beautiful. It's really nicely contoured. You've got this like scoop here in case you want to use it in that sort of shovel grip. I really, really like this knife, and I love the sheath. The sheath is beautiful. It's also got a Terzuola style, a Terzuola design tech lock style belt fixture. Really, really nice. Now, when I got this, and I was like, or before I got this, I knew it was going to be single edged, and I thought they better have some way to index it so I know in the dark when I'm on night ops and I pull this out which side the edge is on. Well, they do. And they have jimping for the thumb with the edge or downward. So if you need to know in the dark which way the edge is without doing that, you can just feel for that jimping. It's a very subtle difference. They also have the jimping back here on the opposite side towards the pinky, which is a little bit of confusion. I mean, I don't know. I like the jimping here, but having the jimping on the opposite side to show what side it's on, it's going to take a minute of getting used to. Luckily, I don't usually use knives in the dark too much. But if you are that type and you do need that, this is something you'll have to get used to. For me, this top edge, which is basically a full-length swedge, is very thin. It's ready for an edge. They're just doing this for legal purposes, I'm quite sure. So I will have that sharpened. I will make this mine. I mean, it is mine, but I will keep this because I think it's beautiful. I really like the lines of it, the profile of it. The handle is very comfortable, uh, very grippy, but at the same time, kind on the hands. It's not irritating or menacing. I will get rid of this big goofy fob here and I'll use it for something else. But really, really, really nice. I like it. If you're a fan of dagger type knives, if you're a fan of single edge daggers, this is you all day. And if you're the kind of person who's handy or knows people who can put a decent edge on a knife, it's all there for the taking. Let's see. MSRP is $99.70, and the map price is $84.75. So if you're gonna go to Blade Center or one of those and get this Knife Center or Blade HQ and get this, it's gonna be 80. What did I say? $85. Tomas, how you doing, brother? Blessings to you, brother. Well, blessings to you, my man. So good to see you. Oh man, he meaning Tomas, has been burning it up with the cool content. I like your katana. It's not. I always. It's not Katanica. Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know. I just think your videos are awesome, man. You've been doing so much cool stuff, and also you and Doug Markida have a real good on-screen chemistry. Awesome stuff coming from you, my man. And also Rolando is going to be on the show in 2 weeks. I'm going to be interviewing him on Saturday. So a Sunday after that, he'll be on. And I know you're very interested in his Bowie knife fighting, as am I. He's such a cool dude, and his collection, oh my God, so awesome. But Tomas, great to have you here, sir. And hope you're having a good night. Mimo. Okay. Canadian hockey. I don't know about that stuff, but I do know that there was some booing our national anthem. You Canadians, man. Bunch of classless. No, I'm just kidding. I don't feel any sort of way about hockey. And I certainly like all the Canadians I've known. And I think it's an absolutely beautiful country. But booing our national anthem is beyond the fray, sir. Donald Fry says, howdy, everybody. Donald, nice to have you here, man. Super late tonight. Had to go deal with pregnant goat. That's awesome. I'm glad you didn't say pregnant wife, because I for a second I thought you were going to say that. And I was like, you should still be with her. Like, we'll be here. You can watch this later. But pregnant goat, that makes me feel better. One of my other obsessions. No wonder I don't have enough money for more knives. You know, I live right outside of Washington, D.C. The old Senate graveyard. I remember hearing a story about this probably 10 years ago at this point, but the old U.S. Senate graveyard was totally overgrown, and it was overgrown mostly with poison ivy. And they just hired some guy with goats, and the goats came and ate it all and cleared all that stuff, so the workers didn't have to get poison ivy clearing it. And they just kind of let them wander around there for a week, and they gorged on poison ivy, which doesn't affect them. And how cool is that? I love that story. Edgy American says Midlands is the funniest blade. Midgards, okay, is the funniest blade, funniest table at Blade Show, but I've never considered owning one. Funnest, not funniest. Sorry, funnest table. Yeah, they are fun, and to pick up one of those giant knives and open them up is a lot of fun. But yeah, I, like you, have never considered owning one. I like big knives, but I like more big practical knives, like this. Craig Vincent says, I was born the year the Buck Pathfinder was released, and I'm 3 years older than the Buck 110. Craig Vincent, gonna have to do some research. I'm guessing you're in your 60s. Don't be offended if I'm wrong. I don't know. Yeah, I think you're probably in your 60s. Because I'm almost in my mid 50s, and I'm pretty sure the Buck 110 is older than I am. Split and Slices says, thanks, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. I'm out. Have a great weekend. Bye, all. Byron, have an awesome night. We're here for another 10 minutes. So I appreciate you, man. Have an awesome weekend. And if you don't know, Split and Slices is an awesome channel. You have to go subscribe to Split and Slices. That's Byron's channel right here on YouTube. Go check him out. Over Under Pull says, enjoying collecting TKL Agent Series. Wait. Tomas is here, and I failed to mention congratulations. Tomorrow, Tomas's collaboration with TKL Knives, the 007, the Agent 007, that goes on pre-order tomorrow. So tomorrow at 12 a.m. Eastern and p.m. Sorry, 12 p.m. Eastern, so noon Eastern Standard Time. Go check it out at TKL Knives, Tomas Alas Tactical Tavern, and yours. I'm glad, man. Over Under Pull. I'm glad. I love mine. I love his. And then the ones in between also happen to be awesome. They're all awesome. TKL Knives. What can I say? Tomas, congratulations on the second run of your knives. Definitely will be picking one up. I cannot wait. Look at the Tree says, I have both Exodus 3 and 4 and love them both. Exodus. What is that? I'm sorry, I don't know. On the Edge 72. Yes, you did. You won the giveaway last week. Send me your email, TheKnifeJunkie@gmail.com, and I'll get it out to you tomorrow. I know I have a day where I can definitely do that. Steve, how you doing, Steve? Good to have you here. Stephen Roberts says, we might need a crowdfund a neon Knife Junkie sign for your background. Anyone interested? It's too cool of a logo not to shine. I love it, Steve. Yeah, that'd be awesome. That would be awesome. Yeah, that would be sweet. I also like those wooden backgrounds some people have. They do American flags and others, but I think neon would be super cool. James Hart says, I have a collection of Green River knives, and yes, the designs are from the 1830s, so you could say they are outdated, but they are still good, usable knives. Well, that's the thing. Bowie knives are from even before that. Don't ask me when, but yeah, still good, usable knives. I'm here. Sorry, Bob, I logged off early last week. Contact you on IG? Yeah, you can do that too. Or you can go just send it to TheKnifeJunkie@gmail.com. I'll see that too. The Slight is their push dagger. Oh, I'm a sucker for a push dagger. Yes, indeed. I only have two. That's a crying damn shame. I should have more than two push daggers. I mean, come on. An American Father says, I don't like one-sided daggers either. Do it or don't do it. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I agree. It's like you're taking it 2/3 of the way there. You got one edge, you got a wicked point, like 3/4 of the way there. Perfect profile, beautiful profile. But yeah, just a single edge. That's such a letdown. But I understand why a company like Civivi, who wants to sell 8 million of these, would do that, but it's just very limiting. What can I say? So I'm going to have someone, I'm not sure who will help me with this, but I will ask one of my friends with a grinder to put an edge on that, a back edge. Northern Knife says, an American Father, I think they do it simply to open up the sales market. Absolutely. Not because they want to sell a half-assed dagger. No. Well, they do want to sell a half-assed dagger, but they do it so that they can sell it in a lot of places, because most places daggers are not practical. So one might argue with Civivi and say, why not just put out a super cool like Bowie knife? And I know they've done that with the Sencut Waxahachie. I love that clip point. Have a Knife Day says, send it to Tom Veff. Actually, that'd be cool. Have the whole back Veff serrated for your back cuts. Ray Herman says, just getting in the tail end, but I'm here. Have a nice day. Oh, man. Good to have you here, Ray Herman. I highly recommend you go back and check out the rest of it. Bob's example of practical is a serrated Voyager XL Chris. No. Here's the Chris. And yes, that's fully practical. What I was showing was this. Here, since I have them out, I have my 3 snaggle-toothed XL Voyagers. Look at that. What's not practical about any of these? I ask you. Actually, this is good for school projects. You know, all that cutting out of cardboard and paper. It's got a downward facing hook. It's very nice. And then when you're working on the school project with your little daughter and some cur comes through the door, you can handle them. Blessed Knife says, the Knife Junkie, good evening, late as always. Hope you're well, sir. I am doing great, Donnie, good to have you here, man. I've been watching you since your show, since you were on the show, and you're making some awesome stuff. And I know that someone here is you're working on something for one of the guys here. I'm not sure if he's here tonight, but very much looking forward to seeing that when it's done. Bobby Rains, burning the midnight oil up in here. Bobby, good to have you here, man. I've been admiring that beautiful Esgard Bowie knife you made for Rolando. He's going to be on the show in 2 weeks. I'm going to be talking to him this weekend. That's when we're going to be recording it. But Mr. Rains, I love your work. So beautiful. It is so up my alley. I love it. So he actually exposed me to your work. I asked him, I can't find him on Instagram. And he was like, dummy, it's Bobby Rains, not Robert Rains or whatever I was looking up, and found you. But so cool. I love your work. Thanks for joining us. Craig Vincent says, the Klein Tools duck knife is my dagger. I'm just saying, yeah, that thing is awesome, man. You just got to go to Lowe's or to Home Depot, and you could walk out with a seriously sickening dagger. And they just call it it's for cutting ducts or whatever it is. That Chris is cool as F. Yes, it is, man. I love this. And so is the tie light version. Long and sinuous. This is more like if you ask me, this is more like a Filipino Chris. And then the tie light is more like an Indonesian or Malaysian Chris. Thinner, a little bit wavier. And I think there might be another wave in it. So Craig Vincent says, I have every current version of the Voyager. I'm a practical man. Yes, I think I do too. I mean, well, that's not to say, like, I don't have this non-serrated but I have this every which way it comes. I love the Vaquero. A lifelong Vaquero fan. The Knife Junkie, thank you very much. Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure, Donnie. Thank you for coming. And thanks for the beautiful work you do. You know, none of this conversation and hanging out and having fun on a Thursday night would happen without people like you and Bobby and Shane and other knife makers out there. Like, you guys are the reason we're all together and talking, because we love the stuff you make, and we love collecting it and using it and hoarding it and passing it down. Thank you. One Moon Collective, good to have you here, One Moon. What up, Knife Junkie and friends? Well, good to have you here, man. Presumably, man, you will have to check out the rest of this on replay. It's a rerun because we are about to dip out of here. It is late night here on the East Coast, and I got to get up in 5 hours and be a productive member of society. Northern Knives, have a good night, all. Fun as always. Thank you, Mike. I'll be talking to him soon, too. Can't wait to talk to Mike. And if I were inside, I'd be smoking a cigar with you, sir. If I were outside, I should say. Blessed Knives, Bobby Rains 2, link to your work. Bobby, I believe it's Bobby Bobby with a Y, I think, _, Rains, and then I think if you put the underscore, maybe Knives at the end. But I know you need the underscores. That's where I was failing. Knife Out. Mark Stallman, good to have you here. Paul Mills, good night. Great to have you, man. Jerry C, rock on, folks. I will indeed. Good to have you. One Moon Collective. hello, goodbye, and be easy, everyone. Be easy to you, sir. Awesome to have you all. All right, well, that's it for this Thursday. For Jim working his magic behind the switcher, I'm Bob DeMarco saying until next time, don't take dull for an answer.